I have an input to the world political system, and I think it will go a long way. So let me explain. Obviously, in most part of the world, democracy is being practiced. So basically, election, any political system that require election to get in. Now, but oftentimes, I always say a particular problem, even looking at US, UK, Nigeria, some other places, is that there's usually 2-3 candidates, and sometimes the candidates might not be your choice. Or if there are 2 candidates, the 2 candidates to you might not be significant enough. Like, you are not really impressed by them, but whether you like it or not, is one of the 2 majority candidates that will still come in. Let's say in US, like the Democrat, Republican, Labour, Conservative, though there are new people coming up. And I got to start thinking is that for every time somebody votes for a political party, are they voting because they believe the person, or are they voting because the person is a lesser evil? But as long as we are concerned, as long as somebody votes for you, the belief is that this person believe and trusts me with the responsibility. That's the supposed belief, even though that might not be the reason why some people might vote. One. And another thing is that some people don't vote at all. There are cases whereby there is low election turnout. And sometimes we don't know the reason why this is. Some people might not believe in the system. Some people might not just like, the 2 people, the popular party or the popular people contesting for election. So I have a suggestion. Why don't we put an extra piece of information on the ballot, meaning undecided or something else? So this is how it's going to work. Say there is let me just use the American system for instance. There's Democrats, Republican, because I think they are the only major political system that has just 2 parties. I think most of the other world has more than 2, 3, 4 like that. So let me just use, for ease of analogy, I'll just use the American system. So let's say there's a ballot paper, then you put Democrat and Republican. Then you put another slot where it says not decided or not sure, or I don't believe in 2 of them, or something like that. So I think, number 1, it will make everybody come out to vote. Number 2, anybody who wins the election will understand a better opinion of the general populace. Now, the undecided is just like an add-on, irrespective of whoever chooses that option. Anybody that still has the highest number of votes still wins. But I think it's necessary to understand what people think, because if, say, there's 1 million people and 500 people come out to vote and 300,000 vote for a candidate, obviously 300,000 will win. But we need to know if truly the 300,000 were people who truly believed, or people who chose that person because they are the lesser evil. You get? So I think if you add that option, God, this is just in my head, but I think if you add the 3rd option, now, instead of, like the analogy I gave, instead of maybe like 500 people coming out to vote, everybody can come out to vote. And don't be surprised if the person that had 300,000 will have a lesser vote of, let's say, 200,000. And maybe he might win, or maybe he might not win. I'm not sure. But I just think it's necessary for, create options that captures every opinion or every state. Because in as much as we say democracy is a government by the people, for the people and all, at the end of the day, it's just numbers. And sometimes when it comes to data numbers, there is always a risk of overgeneralization. It happens with all data, even in economics, finance. There's a risk of overgeneralization unless the data or the mathematics that is used to come out with any result is looked in critically. Now, and this just basically, because obviously by the time you're choosing people, you're counting numbers, it's more of science and logic. So let me use the this last World Cup that just passed. Let me use the analogy, considering science and numbers. The ball was developed with a technology whereby it picks touch. Now, I ask someone that, does the technology picks touch or does it pick movement? Can it differentiate between a touch and movement in the ball? So for instance, now let's say this is the ball. I tap it, obviously there's a touch. Will it read? Even though it reads, can it differentiate between the can it differentiate that it was just a touch or it was a movement? And the reason being that for every time there's science and technology, whatever you give any science core or technology, whatever input you give, that's what it will give out. But the credibility of the result is always as good as how the premise of how we should take input, how good the input that design it is. Same with ChatGPT. You train it with data, the result it gives is as good as the data it was trained to. And that's something about technology and science and even numbers in general. It's as good as how you design it. It's as good as those who designed it. So for every time any data or number brings in result, it's as good as those who design it. So the closer it is to the truth, the better the designed premise of what it was designed to do. Now, going back into the whole politics analogy, I think that if there's a third option of maybe undecided or not interested or don't believe in the voters, I think it will give anybody that wins more input and know that, okay, I won this election, but to a large extent, a lot of people did not trust, my policy. And I think that will make them work better, actually. I think it's something that should be put in our political system. So let me just know your thought about it. Everybody should be included. We need to bring out measures that will show the real features of anything that's happening in the society, and it's good, and it's as good as how we design it to be. So that's what I think. Let me know of your own opinion too. Thank you.